Good evening, y'all. This is Chris Wing, and I am going to be presenting my slides for my speech on why sitting is detrimental to your health and what you should be doing to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So let's get started. So the biggest problem is not necessarily a lack of activity as much as it is a sedentary lifestyle. The way our activity level is essentially measured is through sedentary activity, low to light physical activity, and moderate to vigorous physical activity. And based on a 15.5 hour long day of waking hours, 9.3 of those hours are being filled with a sedentary habit. So what that means is we're talking about no activity whatsoever. Sitting, watching television, being on our computers. Now, what we're hoping for is obviously to have somewhere around an hour of physical activity per day. Now, it's not just physical activity that we need, but it's also not sitting or not being sedentary throughout the day that we're also looking for. So, the reason why this is a problem is that our lifestyles have changed dramatically over the last 100 years. Even since the invention of the television, human beings have become much more sedentary in their habits, whereas folks like our grandparents actually who worked physically for a living had much more healthy lifestyle habits to offset a lot of these health problems that are occurring due to sedentary habits. So some of the risk factors that can come up from sedentary habits are cardiovascular, which include hypertension and heart disease, metabolic problems such as diabetes or obesity. There's biomechanical dysfunction that can actually lead to long-term injury. And also there's been studies on diminished brain function or cognition from a lack of activity as well. So traditionally, physicians would recommend to us to get somewhere between 30 to 45 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity a day to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So this is simply not enough anymore. We are sitting far too much to where that is offsetting the health detriments of the sedentary habits. It's not that physical activity won't be helpful, it's just that it's not enough to offset the sedentary habits. So an interesting statistic, sitting for 6+ hours makes you 40% more likely to die within 15 years of someone who sits less than 3 hours per day. And another interesting statistic that I found was between 1980 and 2000, exercise rates stayed the same, sitting time increased by 8%, and obesity nearly doubled, which is a really shocking statistic. So what can we do to help offset these bad sedentary habits that we might have nowadays? So it's not just getting physical activity that we need through exercise, but also making sure that when we were at work or when we're studying or when we're doing these things that have us sitting more often than not, that we get up from time to time and actually do light physical activity. And this can include anything from stretching to walking, push-ups, jumping jacks, you name it. Think about it like if you're watching television and a commercial comes on, getting up and moving around, having a pull-up bar and doing a couple pull-ups can be great. And it has a very obvious effect on our health. Increased electrical activity in our muscles, it increases burning calories, and obviously decreases blood pressure, and that has all of the greater effects on disease as well. So that's my rough presentation at the moment. I'm looking forward to developing this a little bit more and presenting my full presentation here soon.